It's Monday the 18th of May across Greater Manchester. This is Channel M's Lunchtime News and these are today's headlines. Fighting for his political life, Bury MP David Chaytor is the latest to get caught in the expenses scandal.
As far as I'm concerned, he has put his position in disrepute.
Also coming up, cracking down on rogue traders as a victim speaks out.
A horrible gut feeling that I've just lost 700 quid.
Plus, the fastest man on earth becomes the fastest man on Deansgate.
That was great. I was really looking forward to it. That was exciting because the crowd was right there, really energetic, and I pretty much feed off the crowd, so it was wonderful.
Good afternoon. First today, some of the latest technologies being brought in to try to catch rogue traders operating here in Greater Manchester. Special cameras will be used to search out their registration plates. It's part of a week-long campaign to try to reduce the number of people falling victim who are often elderly and vulnerable. People like John from Stockport, who lost £700 when he paid for insulation work from builders who didn't come back.
The scaffolders didn't come, nor the following day did anybody come. By the middle of the afternoon, I tried phoning one of the telephone numbers again and just got an answer phone message, and I left a message for them to phone me back. By that time, concerns are clicking around at a very high rate, and I started doing some further telephone calling and realised that I'd been scammed. A horrible gut feeling that I've just lost 700 quid. A realisation that someone's, I'll say, been dishonest with me, an annoyance at my own failings, if you like, in not. You start to realise what you didn't check or what you took on face value.
Be very wary of anybody who calls at your door and offers to do building work. We'd always advise people not to agree there and then, get quotes from different businesses, use local reputable companies, people who you know that if there is a problem, you've got somewhere that you can go back to. Very often we advise people to get quotes or advice from family and friends about work that's been done by them. And certainly one of the things that we would advise against doing is handing over money up front for materials. We'd always say that any reputable building firm should be able to carry out the work and then charge you at the end.
Fire has completely destroyed a derelict pub in Blakely. The blaze broke out shortly before 3 o'clock at what used to be the Berkshire Tavern. The heat was so intense, part of the roof collapsed. Investigators think the building had been deliberately set alight. They also say it had been previously used by squatters. A controversial new database listing every child in England has gone live here in the northwest. This part of the country has been chosen to try out the new contact point system before anyone else. It lists 11 million youngsters and holds their names, ages and addresses, and is available to social workers, police and healthcare staff. It was set up after the death of Victoria Colombier, who was abused by her great-aunt and her boyfriend, but some critics say the database is too intrusive. The Speaker of the House of Commons is due to address MPs later over calls for him to quit. Michael Martin's expected to announce reforms to the expenses system. A motion of no confidence in him has been put forward that could see him become the first Speaker to be forced out in 300 years. That as Bury North MP David Chaytor fights for his political life. He's due to meet Labour Party bosses after it came out he'd claimed thousands of pounds for a mortgage he'd already paid off. With more on this, here's Georgia Calvin-Smith.
David Chaytor has been suspended by the Parliamentary Labour Party. In the last 5 years, the MP has claimed parliamentary allowances for 5 different properties, flipping his designated second home between London, Yorkshire and Bury. But it was his dealings with his flat in the capital that has caused him the most headaches. He claimed £13,000 on the property, despite having already paid off the mortgage. Mr. Chaytor has said that the money was collected by mistake and that he's committed an unforgivable error. But his explanation seems to have fallen flat with voters in his constituency.
The trust isn't completely gone, yeah, but who else can you trust? Who can you bring in?
Should be get punishment as well. should pay back whatever he get unfair money from a government fund.
People struggling and you know, they're doing this sort of thing. It's not, it's just not on really.
If it's to be sacked, you're going to sack everyone else who's done it though, that's the problem. Who are you going to have left in Parliament? They're all dipping into that same pot, aren't they?
Chaytor's mistake could cost him his job. The Prime Minister has said that any MP found to have made improper expenses claims could be deselected and barred from standing at the next election.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, I can't see that being an error. You know, I've looked at it very closely, and when I was in business and I had to do my accounts, I had to check my accounts against my statements from the bank, and obviously he hasn't done that. So therefore, and if he has done it, obviously it's what you would call a fraud. He has put his position in disrepute, and it's the only option open to him is to possibly resign then.
Later this week, Mr Chaytor will address members of the constituency Labour Party in an attempt to avoid being deselected. And his troubles don't end there. The police and the Crown Prosecution Service will be looking at his case as they consider whether to take criminal action against politicians accused of dodgy dealings with their expenses. Georgia Calvin-Smith, Channel M News.
A policeman from Bury's been told he'll go on trial in November accused of murdering his fiancée, who was also a police officer. Claire Howarth was found with serious head injuries after a crash in Bolton earlier this month. Martin Forshaw from Tottington was arrested at the scene. The pair had been due to get married in St Lucia last week. He'll be back in court in August to enter a plea. Now, you might remember these pictures from 3 weeks ago showing a massive crater opening up in a road in Didsbury. The 8-foot by 6-foot hole opened on Barlow Moor Road just seconds after cars and a bus had passed over it. Well, part of the repaired road has now collapsed again. This is what the carriageway now looks like. This is despite engineers being called in to resurface the road after they dealt with a collapsed drain. More surveys are now needed to work out what's gone wrong and why, and diversions are in place. The government's attempt to get more of us changing our cars has come into force. Anyone scrapping cars more than 10 years old will get £2,000 off the price of a brand new one. The Business Secretary, Lord Mandelson, says it's a wonderful bargain for motorists and good news for the car industry. The deal lasts till the end of next February. There were delays for rush hour commuters through the centre of Manchester earlier. Oxford Road was closed because of water main works. Also, engineers had hoped to finish clearing up from the Great Manchester Run by 6 a.m, but Deansgate was shut for a further 3 hours. That said, the memories of what happened on that section of road last night will live long in the minds of the thousands who watched as Usain Bolt demonstrated why he's the fastest man on earth.
Well, I haven't seen much of the city, but I think it's great so far. Otherwise, from the weather, I think it's a nice place. The track was pretty good. Surprisingly, I thought it was going to be a little bit problems, but it was good. That was great. I was really looking forward to it. That was exciting because the crowd was right there. It was really energetic, and I pretty much feed off the crowd, so it was a wonderful experience. I'm not in the best of shape right now, and I slipped at the start a little bit, so I think I could have gone faster. Agent told me that the finish of the race was at the clock, and I was still running after the race was done. Actually, I think I went like 15 meters more. If you actually watch a race over, I was kind of worried if I was going to die at the end, but it was okay. I think that's my fastest time on 150. So yeah, I haven't run a serious race all season, so I think it always helps to your first big race to run good. So it felt good. I want to be a legend. If I'm going to be a legend, that would be a milestone for me. You can always expect great things from me, obviously, because I always go out there and do my best. I always go out there and perform at my best, so you can expect great things from me as always. I always go out there and compete and enjoy myself, because when I see other people compete, I don't worry about them, so I don't know if my competitors actually worry about me. I'm open. I'm definitely open. I can break a few more this season.
Over different distances?
Definitely, yeah. I don't know. I'll take anything that comes, really.
400?
No, I'm not running 400 this year. No.
Michael Johnson said you were so talented he thought you could make an impact over 800. Is that something?
For me?
Yeah.
No, I don't even like 400 meters.
have more on the Manchester 10K in the sport with Ian later in the programme. Police are looking for a hit-and-run driver who killed a 48-year-old man in Salford on Saturday night. The victim was struck by a red Audi A3 at around 11:45. The vehicle was later found abandoned on Nile Terrace. A man's being questioned over a stabbing in Blakely on Saturday night. The victim needed surgery on 4 wounds to the chest after the attack on Printon Avenue. He's described as stable in hospital. Police have arrested a 24-year-old on suspicion of assault. Now, a Royal Navy warship is making its way back to Portsmouth after being moored at Salford Quays over the weekend. We sent Beverly Walkden on board to find out just what it was doing here.
HMS Ledbury is the biggest warship ever constructed from fiberglass. Its job is to hunt down Second World War bombs and detonate them. It's been on a 3-day stop-off at Salford Quays as part of a recruitment drive. Captain Chris Nelson is in charge and has fought in the Gulf War in the past.
Have you thought about going that way and turning to stop? We're a mine hunter, about 60 metres long, and our business is to keep the shipping lanes free of mines. And part of that is actually keeping the major ports in the UK open. There isn't necessarily a threat now, but we still have to continue to survey the lanes and make sure that they're clear. And tasking worldwide, we've got ships pre-positioned out in the Gulf, ready to do what they do best out there to keep the area clear of mines if needed.
The ship has 2 remote-controlled submarines on board, which are sent down to the seabed to blow up any bombs. The crew's expert demolitions divers are also used, which can sometimes be risky.
Well, if a diver comes up too quickly, they could suffer something awful called the bends. This involves slurred speech, aches and pains in their limbs, and general dizziness. Now, they'd be locked away in this decompression chamber for anything up to 5 hours. I have to say, I think it would drive me round the bend. It's incredible to think there are still thousands of Hitler's bombs off the coast of France, as well as the River Mersey. This 24-year-old lieutenant navigates HMS Ludbury under the command of the captain.
The teamwork and the friendship and kind of camaraderie is fantastic. Everybody gets on really well, and if they didn't do, we wouldn't be able to operate.
Well, this is a typical cabin. This is where most of the crew would sleep at night. You can see they've got a little bed there and some drawers underneath. Looks quite comfortable, actually. There are around 47 men on this ship at any one time, and sometimes they're away for months at a time. If you follow me, this is where a lot of them hang out when they're not working. And here's a sub, Lieutenant from Bury. Hello, what's life like on this ship?
As you can see, it's very relaxed, very comfortable. It's basically a home from home. We've got all the home comforts, DVD, TV.
If you're not one of the officers, though, the standard of accommodation does drop, but everyone enjoys a good hearty meal. It's been a rare visit to Manchester for MHS Ledbury, which is now on its way back to base in Portsmouth. Beverly Walkden for Channel M News.
Right, Ian Irving's here now with the sport, with, among other things, pictures of 1 or 2 people who'll be slightly achy after yesterday's 10K.
Thanks, James. Yep, news on the Manchester run in a moment, but first today, ex-Manchester City player Jim Melrose is leading a consortium to buy Stockport County. The troubled League One club's administrators are believed to have set a deadline of 4 p.m. tomorrow for interested parties to register bids. And the former Bluesman has already put in, along with ex-county chairman Brendan Elwood, who's eyeing a return to Edgeley Park with a rival bid. More news on that as we get it. Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson is already targeting a record-breaking 4th consecutive title after the Reds lifted the Premier League trophy on Saturday. And defender Nemanja Vidic will need more space in his cabinet after being named both the Players' Player of the Year and the Fans' Player of the Year at last night's official United Awards bash. But Carlos Tevez did not attend the event, fueling more speculation that the Argentine is set to leave Old Trafford. We'll have a full report on the 0-0 draw with Arsenal that clinched the title, along with the rest of the Premier League games at 5 o'clock. David Beckham will front England's bid to host the World Cup in either 2018 or 2022, as their campaign is officially launched today. A decision from FIFA is not expected until December next year, but if the nation is successful, it could see United's Old Trafford ground and City's City of Manchester Stadium hosting matches. Rain is threatening to ruin England's chances of winning the second test against the West Indies at the Riverside. Play has been disrupted today on the final day of the game with the West Indies. The hosts had an overnight lead of 130 as the Tories finished on 129 for 3, following on from their first innings total of 301. And as we mentioned before, the Great Manchester Run took place yesterday with thousands of ordinary people racing alongside elite runners like Haile Selassie to raise money for charity. 33,000 people united by one course 10 kilometres long. And once running legend Haile Selassie had showed everyone how it was done, it was time for the real stars of the show to shine.
Not bad, great crowd, great day, you know, really good, well organised, everything was really good.
It was just nice running weather, really. It gets a bit hot if it's too sunny.
Okay, my dad died from cancer, my gran died from cancer, about 8 people in the family, so got to get out and do it, ain't you?
And amongst the masses of marathoners, there were one or two familiar faces.
Oh, it was hard work, really hot. We expected rain today and the sun came out, so it was hot. But brilliant, I think I did it in 57 minutes, so I'm dead chuffed.
I said an hour and 15, so I beat my time and I didn't want to stop. I've never ran more than 20 minutes really, and I didn't stop, so I'm really pleased.
I was more nervous than I was for Glastonbury. So no, it was, I don't know, it's one of them things, isn't it? You know, you've got nothing to hide behind, you're just out there running, and it felt great actually, it was really good.
But of course, someone has to come first and someone has to come last. But the real winners today are the countless charities and causes that will benefit from the millions of pounds raised by the spirit, graft and determination of thousands of ordinary people. Ian Irving, Channel M News. Well, a great day was had by all yesterday, including James. How did you do?
Just under 52 minutes. Quite pleased with that, but a little bit sore today.
Yeah, not bad, eh?
Thanks very much for that, Ian. More sport in the early evening news from 5 o'clock tonight. Still to come this Monday lunchtime, we meet the student who's hoping for an award for her floristry skills, and we're getting on the buses.
We're having fun celebrating the buses of Bolton. Not just Bolton Corporation's own buses, but buses from Lee, Salford, Bury, even the old private firm LUT.
Welcome back to Channel M's Lunchtime News. Don't forget you can always check out our website, channelm.co.uk. On there right now, why funerals in one part of Greater Manchester are going online, and also tributes to cancer fundraiser Tom Buckley, who's lost his battle with the disease. That's at channelm.co.uk. Next, a student from Reddish is in the running to be named the Young Florist of the Year. Amanda DeBake is heading down to the Chelsea Flower Show, which starts tomorrow. Her achievements are all the more remarkable when you find out she had to give up her university course because of a life-threatening illness.
I was diagnosed with a brain tumour when I was 19. I was in my first year at university and I had 2 major operations. I developed viral meningitis as well. After all that, I think my body just couldn't cope with it, and I was diagnosed with something called ME, or chronic fatigue syndrome, it's commonly known as. So I had to give up on my studies at Manchester University and take a back seat really for about a year. And when I finally started to feel better, it was my mum who said, you know, let's do something that can be enjoyable, but, you know, get yourself back out there and into more of a normal routine, I guess. So we signed up at the local college for a floristry course. I found out about Neil Whitaker, and he's one of the top designers in the world. He's renowned, his work's phenomenal. And I googled him and realised that his shop, the Design Element, was in Earlham, Manchester, and I thought, what a fantastic opportunity, local. So I knocked on his door and said, can I have some hours with you doing some work? And he said, sure. The applications for Chelsea were just been released. Went to my qualifying heats in February and won it outright. We have a brief, design one piece, you construct it, you take it down, you display it, so it's not actually constructed on site. And this year the brief is a flamboyant floral hat, which on the surface of it sounds quite simple, but it's got to be wearable. The judge actually wears it, you know, as part of the marking criteria. Very happy. Even on the bad days where I don't feel too good, it's all worth it, definitely.
Now, are you old enough to remember the days when you would jump on the back of a bus and a conductor would come round collecting the fares? Well, staff who used to work on the buses and those who enjoyed taking a ride got on board this weekend for a reunion.
We're having fun celebrating the buses of Bolton. Not just Bolton Corporation's own buses, but buses from Lee, Salford, Bury, even the old private firm LUT. We've got the vehicles from all the local towns, we've got some superb displays, some lovely old photographs. We can even get a nice cup of tea as well. A lot of nostalgia, I think a lot of old timers knocking about, old photos coming out of coat pockets and so on. So yeah, I think everyone's enjoying it. The comment that we get from the visitors is, I'd love to see the bus that I went to school on. And instead of all the formica and the laminates inside, it's lovely old moquette and lovely smell of the interiors that reminds people. Nice yellow light bulbs rather than tungsten filaments and so on. Much more characterful, much more warm.
Some of the old buses I used to drive when I first started for Bolton Corporation in 1969. Some of them in a better state than I am. And it gives you a chance to see some of the old pals that you used to work with years ago. And most of them seem to have fared all right in life. They're in a very good state of repair, a lot of these buses are. The people who spend their time doing them up, they put an awful lot of time and effort to do them up.
This is Bolton number 8, DBN 978. Constructed in 1949, it's an all-Crossley vehicle, chassis, body, engine. It was used mainly on the joint Ribble services to Blackburn, Dunscar. Latterly in its life, it did mainly the Affet side service, along with its 3 other stable mates. As far as I know, it's the 2nd or 3rd oldest Bolton bus in existence.
You've got to be a lot more patient. Some still have the crash gearbox, double declutching and so on. So you've got to be a lot more patient, a lot more restrained. Take your time and you'll get there.
Well, this morning's been mainly dry in most places, though not much sunshine around and pretty cloudy as well. If you have escaped the rain so far, the showers aren't too far away and they will be heavy in some places, especially over the Pennines, with even some hail and thunder around. It's looking a bit brighter towards the coast, maybe the odd bit of sunshine near there, but generally everywhere feeling cool and windy, highs of 15. Tonight, that rain will continue in most places, leading to another wet day tomorrow. Looking further ahead, and the rest of the week looks decidedly wet, maybe the odd bit of sun tomorrow, but then cloudy with rain all the way till Friday, highs of 13 degrees then. This is Channel M, an update now on our top stories. The Speaker of the House of Commons will address MPs this afternoon over calls for him to step down. Michael Martin's expected to spell out changes to the expenses system. Bury North's David Chaytor is meeting his Labour bosses to discuss thousands of pounds he's accused of claiming for a mortgage that was already paid off. A derelict pub's been destroyed by fire in Blakely. Investigators think the blaze at the Berkshire Tavern was started on purpose. Those are today's headlines, and that was the Lunchtime News. We'll have much more on all those stories in our early evening news with Andy Crane from 5 o'clock tonight. But from me and all the Lunchtime team, have a very good afternoon. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.